How you guys doing today? I'm Webtoon King, and first I would like to apologize that I haven't dropped chapter 11 or 12 in 2 weeks. So I'm just gonna do this video on both of them once in a while. So let's get to Kagura bachi chapter 11 and 12. First, let's talk about the main points, like I like to do. For 11 and 12, the main points is the first one, and the most important thing we learn about is Soldier Go, his true goals, and why he kidnapped the orphan kid last chapter. I believe chapter 10, that's when he kidnapped her. We also learned the source of the enchanted blade, that what they use to make the enchanted blade. We learned that in these two chapters. We end up meeting a team in these two chapters. We get a little more personality of them and stuff like that, which I like. I like that a lot. And we also see that Soldier is contemplating being the main character again, because, like I said, his father's his idol, so he's trying to get more information and figure out his conflicting ideas with himself, and what the main character say about his dad. All right, let's talk about Soldier Go. The first thing we learn in the beginning of chapter 11, is that Sheba lets the main character know that Soldier has the Dati can't second, Dati second, which is basically a stone. Which I'm gonna explain why this stone is so important. I probably said the name wrong, but it's Data Sinkai. Sorry about the misspelling these. Before we talk about it, we learned that the informant is alive. She's chilling. It looks like she's eating an apple or just having fun. So let's talk about why these stones are important, which they call them the Data Senkai, which I'm probably misspelling. Like I said, apologize. Why these stones are important? These are the stones they use to make the enchanted blades, so they're very important. Sojo somehow got it. He's a weapons dealer, so I imagine he have it. We also learn from him, or the scientist he's talking to, that there's only 250 kilos of this stone currently known, and these stones were discovered during the war. So, I obviously my theory is that there's probably going to be more, and probably the main character dad, or maybe the people in charge of the government have more. But I think there's more than 250 kilos of the stones. But that's just a theory. But for now, all we know is 250 kilos. That's known, defined during the war, and we learned that it's toxic. It's toxic to human when you use it and you try to put energy. It can make you explode. It's very toxic to humans. That's why the main character dad was so respected. He was the only one who was able to stabilize these stones and make 7 swords out of them. 7 or 8, because I think the main character got the 8th sword that nobody knows about. So that's why people respect him. He's the only one who was able to stabilize them, and he's also the main reason the war ended. Also, side note, I believe that the main character learned how to do these swords growing up. I believe the dad showed him how to make it. So it's whether the dad showed him how to do it, or he knows the steps of how to make it. And what I mean by he knows the step how to make it, okay, think of you watching a cooking video of a master chef. Like, you know the steps, but the food might not come out like the master chef made it. So that's what I mean by he might know the steps on how to make it, but he's not that good yet. But obviously, I believe eventually he's gonna be able to make a sword himself, and probably like him and his dad talked about in chapter 1 or 2. They were talking about it's a heavy responsibility to give out these swords and stuff, something like that in that effect. So I think eventually he's gonna have the responsibility of making a sword and giving it to somebody. Which it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Whether he gives it to the wrong person and then goes bad, or he gives it to the right person. It'll be interesting to see if they actually do that. I hope they do. I hope they do, and he gives it to the wrong person, and something bad happens. But moving on, when you look at the stones, it don't look like 250 kilos. So somebody else had the rest of it. And it looks very small compared to what they say is known in existence. So somebody else have it. Probably his other teammates, the other bad guys have the rest of them. Now let's talk about the team and how the main character convinced or lack of convincing. He didn't really convince them. One of the guys just read him like a book and basically said he's stubborn, so that they're not gonna. Let's talk about him and me and the team. Yeah, he didn't really convince them, but let's just talk about how he convinced them to join the mission. So there's basically four boys and one girl. The girl is the one with the eyeballs and her hairpin. I thought it was a boy the first time I saw him, but it was a girl. My favorite one is the glasses. I think he's the vice captain for Uzumi. Nah, obviously, we learned that he's the commander laid down. I'm gonna talk about it, but I think he's the commander just for the mission that is about to happen. I think he's actually he's the captain of Uzumi when they're actually in a team together. There's a newbie with the blonde. He looks like he might have blonde hair. He's always hating on the main character, and we learn from the guy with the gas mask that he basically hating on anybody who's young and talented. So in my mind, I think, like I said, this is theory. I think he's just scared that his position might be taken because he's also a new guy. He just joined the team, so he might have a fear of it. There's another masked man who's happy when he learns that the main character sacrificed himself to save civilians. Obviously, he didn't die, but the main character like took the lightning from Sojo in chapter 10 to save people. So the guy with the mask basically was like, "Oh, that's amazing." He called him a cool and all that stuff. We also learn in this scene that the main character arms are messed up, and basically, all right, main character joining the team. We learned that the main character is going to take a month for him to heal. The character with the glasses mentioned that the main character is a hothead and stubborn. So because of that, he let the main character knows that the mission is to kill soldiers, not to save the kid. So they decided what they end up deciding is that the main character will save the kid while they're trying to kill soldier because they know he's basically going to do it anyway. So they might as well like get into it together and figure out a plan because he's gonna want to do it anyways, even if they tell him no. And you can see Shibai kind of like throughout the chapter kind of agreeing with the guy with the glasses whenever he says the main character is stubborn. So they just decide that they're gonna kill Soldier and he's gonna save Char at the same time. Most of this is the end of chapter 11 basically, but couple things I forgot to mention. Chapter 11, what happened was we saw the condition Char is, the orphan kid. Obviously, that's her name, Char's. I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry. We see how horrible her condition is, how they're testing her, how they don't treat her like a human. She's in a cage, they give her food, and basically they don't treat her like a human. The other thing, they also mentioned that the main character is in a regular hospital because they don't want the higher ups to know that he's the son of the guy who made the swords. So some higher ups don't agree with that, so they're trying to hide his existence from the higher ups. So the main character is in the regular hospital right now. Let's talk about chapter 12. The main team leave the main character at the hospital, inform him. They basically let him know when they find information about Sojo, they're gonna come, and that's when the mission is gonna start. So throughout the chapter, you just see Chiba basically saying how stubborn the main character is. And we also plan out to the next scene where we see Soldier security, the security he has around Shores to make sure nobody comes take her away. So you got a lot of security, a lot of sorceries that he hired. And then you just see Soldier in the bath just living in his head, thinking about the possibility of the main character being the dad, being the son of his idol. Because the main character let it slip last chapter that don't talk about my dad, something basically like that. Letting that Soldier know that your idol is my dad and your ideas of him is wrong. So Soldier's just going through the possibility, and then he ends up believing that the main character might be his son because the main character has a sword, enchanted blade that nobody knows of, and also all records of the main character dead after the war is not recorded anymore. So he kind of comes to believe that the main character is the son of his idol because he has a sword. First, he has a sword, enchanted blade that nobody heard of. He also knows information on other swords and how they fight. So maybe he picked up on the main character knowing his abilities while they were fighting. So he accepted the fact that the main character is the son of his idol. But even though he accepted it, he refused it. He started yelling it because what the main character say is different from what he believes. The dad mission of making the sword is. So the soldier believed the mission of the dad making the sword was to start wars, being violent and stuff like that. But the main character, when he was fighting him last or chapter 10, he was mentioning how the sword is to be used for justice and defeat evil. So it's two conflicting ideas, and it's kind of disturbing him because he not the fact that he accepted the main character being his son, so he might know more than him. So Soldier is kind of contemplating meeting the main character to talk to him and figure stuff out. So while he was in the bathroom, moving on, while he was in the bathroom, it looks like some people he gave the stone to, that his prototype swords, I guess. I don't know if it was a sword or he just gave them stones. But either way, some group of people are mad at him because the stones he gave them was not stable. It was still unstable, and it killed some of the guys. So those groups are mad at Soldier to try to kill Soldier, but obviously a Soldier. He clasped all of them. So while he does that, Soldier has in his mind that maybe he needs to understand the blade because he's done all the steps. He believes he's done all the steps to making the sword. So maybe there's another thing he's missing. Maybe he's not understanding the swords, or something is wrong. So I believe this is where, to me, I believe this is another layer to wanting to meet the main character, because the main character he might believe. I know they didn't say in chapter 12, but Soldier might believe the main character might know the method to making it. So he might be the main priority. Like maybe even at the end of the chapter, we see the special unit attacking Soldier. He might, if Soldier feels that the main character is there, he might run to him, because him talking to the main character is more important, because the main character knows how to make the sword, or Soldier believe that. I think Soldier will believe that the main character know how to make the sword. Let me move on to this. So once he get out the bath, he knows that the group is out there for him. Our group, our boys. You see the guy with the glasses, and then you just see Soldier start having a speech, start mentioning how sorceries before the war wasn't known because it was unwritten rule that sorcery don't interfere with the outside world. Basically, they don't mess with regular people. But because of the war, or the end result of the war, more sorceries start being outside, basically not hiding no more. It's like, think of Jujutsu Kaisen, when before the Shibuya arc, nobody knew who sorcerers was in JJK, but after the Shibuya and Sukuna fucking up, which I think might have happened in this manga during the war, that someone messed up the landscape so bad that it was kind of hard for them to hide magic and sorcery. So I think that's something they might have gotten from JJK too. So they had to go public. So yeah, I could see that happening. But while Soldier was giving his speech, my favorite character so far, hopefully they don't kill him off. The one with the glasses cut him off, and basically we learn his name is, I'm about to mess it up, Aikoto Hugari. Yeah, we learn that he's a commander of the anti-cloud gouger. Like I was saying, he might be the commander here, but I think he's a vice captain whenever him and Azumi actually have a team together. But he's the commander of this unit. And basically, he asked soldiers, "Since you're done with this speech, your speech or something, are you ready to fight now?" And that soldier kind of agrees, and this is the beginning of the mission. Them soldier coming outside and them being outside. That's letting us know the mission is starting. And then we move on to the last scene of the chapter where we just see a fish, which is obviously the main character fish. You see him in the hallway, and then you just see someone dead on the side of him. And then the next scene, the last scene of the chapter, you just see I believe two bodyguards on the ground, and you just see one of the bodyguards still alive on the phone, not snitching about the main character being there. And you just see at the end of the chapter is the bodyguard asking him, "What do you want from him?" Now this main character, I like him. He has no reservation about killing bad guys, as long as it's part of his goal. And I like that. And this scene was very scary how they drew this. But like I said, I like this chapter. Well, these two chapters to give a little more reason for soldier goals. It's not just him being violent. He's actually wanting to make swords, which some of us, I kind of had an idea that this is what he wanted to do. But thank you guys for watching the video. Subscribe, comment. I'm still trying to make webtoon videos. I'm probably gonna start another channel and just post webtoon videos over there, so you guys don't have to go through my manga and stuff. So if you guys want to watch webtoon videos, eventually I'm gonna start posting the name of my other channels on this Kagura bachi chapters, reviews or discussions. Thank you for like I said again, thank you for watching the video. Toon Family out.